You guys are all blogging and you're all tweeting, or twittering rather. And I wonder, are you seeing even fragmentation there among your customers in terms of who's really engaging with that, who's really running with the tweets, et cetera? Or is a younger generation embracing it a lot more than an older generation?
I would say yes. I would say the amount of time that the younger generation is spending on those, call them tools, than the older generation is definitely more. So they get way more familiar with the tool. They definitely become more experts in those areas.
I mean, I also think that as there's new technology, whether it's Foursquare or whatever new thing there is, you'll have early adapters who are obviously much younger, and then you'll have something like Facebook, which is, I think, at 350 million, and obviously you have a sort of older demographic with something like that that's been around for a little bit longer. So it's more of the early adapters are younger.
What we're always impressed with is younger customers, when they're shopping on our site and our sales are a little bit competitive, they may have 8 different applications open. So they might have 3 versions of our site open so they can kind of compare and contrast. They'll have IM, Facebook, Twitter, and they'll be on their phones and basically be talking to 5 people at the same time and purchasing, which is pretty amazing. Whereas I think our older customers who, are doing a great job and they are savvy and they are shopping online, I think they usually stick to 1 application at a time.
Could you ever see a guilt group for tweens? Is that a possibility?
It's not something we're looking at now, but it's definitely something for the future to think about.
We just started a tween line. We actually find the tweens aren't shopping online yet, but that was just some of the focus groups we did.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, their parents are
still steering them much more. And do you expect that might change over the next few years, or?
Probably. Yeah. We're watching it for sure.
I think we find that they're looking and they're researching online, but then they're dragging their parent into a store to buy it.
Yeah, same with us. That's what we're seeing.
What major shifts in retail in the marketplace do you guys really expect within the next 5 to 10 years to deal with in a new way, new things to happen?
I think the guilt group should definitely answer that question first.
I was going to say e-commerce is changing everything. Yeah, they're changing the game.
Well, what I hope to see and what we're seeing a lot of is brands that have 100-year histories, a lot of the European brands that probably never thought they'd go into e-commerce and have always been terrified. I think they're finally taking the plunge and finally realizing their customers are online, their customers want their product online, and if they don't kind of get with the program in terms of e-commerce, they're really going to fall behind a lot of the more innovative companies. So we've seen it in terms of many of these brands are now brand partners of ours, and when we launched 2 years ago, they probably thought they would never work with us, and lo and behold, they've realized that we can actually support their full-price businesses. We can help partner with their full-price e-commerce sites, and I think little by little, that's a big change that we're seeing.
I think brands will need to figure out how to be their brand, but also be multi-channel. And have that same kind of consistency experience in all the different channels that are going to pop up.
I also think that social networking is going to have a direct link to e-commerce. You're going to be interacting and you're going to be shopping at the same time. The two are going to be one.
What ways could you envision that, David?
Yeah, I think a huge opportunity is ultimately related to trend spotting and peer production in terms of that trend spotting. So through mobile applications, software, the retail experience, and social networks, elite trend spotters are going to emerge who are going to be able to contribute trends in real time to a hyper-connected network. And potentially, I could envision brands hiring them and paying them for that role, or rewarding a sort of class system of trend originators and followers. And it would be enabled through the software. I also think RFID is going to become very important in the North American market in the next 1 to 2 years. There are certain rumors that certain devices in the next version will be equipped with them, and we've seen how that's been very important in other markets, such as in East Asia and Northern Europe, related to commerce, the idea that you kind of don't pay with your credit card, but you pay with your mobile provider. And then I also think in another interesting technology to be on the lookout for is augmented reality, which was the idea that through your mobile device you can overlay information. So if you go into a store and hold up your device to a garment, that you could have additional information displayed there. And in the distant future, I think we're going to see home personal fabrication units where just like the laser printer arrived in our homes, and someday you'll be able to print a garment right in your home. And it's probably, certainly within our lifetime, and probably much sooner than we anticipate.
Now, I wonder, as retailers or representatives of retailers, how do you guys hear that sort of information? What does it make you think, oh, I got to get on this, I need to make sure my phone can do everything? Or how do you process that kind of info?
For us, we've decided really what we can be the best in the world at, and constantly asking ourselves what we can be the best in the world at, and is it technology? Maybe not necessarily, but so yeah, that's so. What do we do? Well, I guess a couple things. So we participate in the social media. We have a team that definitely participates. We don't use it as a marketing tool, but what's neat about it is we constantly have our loyal guests or our loyal communities kind of telling us where we need to go. So we don't a lot of times we actually have to figure it out. We're letting our communities tell us.
Customer feedback.
Customer feedback, exactly. Thank you.
Well, there's one thing that you said that's interesting about the sort of tastemakers, and there are various ways where we feel like we tap into that group, but it's interesting. We're sort of specifically about to enter into an initiative where we've tapped 4 style bloggers, and they're each going to design a piece of product, and it'll be 100% their own, and that's sort of a collaboration we're doing. So it's interesting to hear you talk about that sort of grassroots tastemaker and types of people out there. Reed Krakoff, my boss and the creative director and genius behind my brand, always says that no one needs another fill in the blank, X, Y, and Z. So I think that it all really boils down at the end of the day to what it is that you have, and is the product compelling enough, and does it make someone want to go out? Because none of us need anything, really. So it's about really having compelling product.
I mean, for us, these ideas would be music to our engineers' ears. They love to innovate. They love interesting ideas. So as a company, we tend to have lots of offsites where we brainstorm together ideas and then kind of prioritize what's realistic and what do we push off for the next offsite or the next prioritization. So if we started seeing that brands were responding to this and consumers were responding, we definitely would jump on the bandwagon as quickly as we could. Unfortunately, right now we're not producing garments, so we can't be the leaders, but as soon as we see kind of major players in the industry, we would love it.